Good afternoon. Welcome to today's show, God's Anointed Ministries. This is Brenda Johnson-Padgett, your host, here on A Swift Radio. Today we have Glenda Fields joining us on today's show. Glenda is the co-founder of God's Anointed Ministries, and she is here today to give you, our listening audience, an overview of the services of God's Anointed Ministries. Good afternoon, Ms. Fields. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, and how are you doing, Ms. Johnson-Padgett?
Pretty good. Welcome to A Swift Radio. Could you tell us a little about yourself and how God's Anointed Ministries came about?
Okay, well, first of all, God's Anointed Ministries started for my husband and I about 15 years ago. It was a ministry that he had birthed through us. Over the years, we have done so much marital ministry, training, and deliverance and healing ministries, and so God just gave us a name of our ministry, and he birthed it for us 15 years ago, and so we've been pushing forward since then.
Great. Can you just tell us also a little about yourself, where you're from?
Okay, I'm originally from Shreveport, Louisiana. I've been in Texas for the last 24 years, so most Texans consider me to be a Texan since I've been here so long. But I grew up in Louisiana. I went to school at Green Oaks High School, went to college at Southern University and got my associate's degree, went on from there to Louisiana Tech University for about a year and a half and got married. And from that point, I ended up in ministry.
Okay. Okay, so your husband is a minister, I take it.
Yes. We both are. We both are licensed ministers for the last 14 years and ordained ministers for the last 10.
Okay, and where do you serve?
We actually serve under Bishop T.D. Jakes at the Potter's House Dallas campus.
Okay, well, great. That's where I serve as well. Can you tell us more about the counseling part of God's Anointed Ministries and the counseling issues that you guys deal with when you do your ministry?
Okay, we do relationship counseling, so we counsel people when they're having struggles in their marriages, various levels and concerns, right before they may be considering divorce. And we use one of our books called Diary of a Man, Heart of a Woman as a training tool that kind of break the ice and help individual couples to bring up questions or concerns they might have regarding their relationship. Things like what is actually the role of a husband, what is actually the role of the wife, how to properly communicate in a marriage. What do you do when there's a breakdown or a meltdown in the relationship? Who's held responsible? Do a relationship have to consist of each individual giving 100% of themselves, or is there a compromise somewhere in there where one partner's giving 100% and the other one's giving nothing, or 70-30? You know what I'm saying? And so we do relationship counseling sessions by appointment most of the time. Sometimes we get the assignments from the church because we actually work with the premarital department, and so we also get to do premarital counseling with individuals when they're engaged. They actually have to go through about a year session with us to discuss, their aspects of marriage. What are they looking forward in their relationship from each other, and so various things come up, but we do the premarital counseling as well.
Okay, so Glenda, the book that you use for the tool in your ministry is called Diary of a Man and Heart of a Woman. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and also, how can anyone, if they are interested in the services that you offer through God's Anointed Ministry, how can they get in contact with you?
They can go to my website, which is www.godsanointedministries.com. Okay. They can go to A Swift Radio. They can go to A Swift Writers Guild website, which is www.aswiftwritersguild.com, and click on the link that have my name and They can also contact, the Potter's House Church themselves for references or referrals to us.
Okay. And also, they can also contact or look on BrendaPaget.com website as well,
yes.
and then click on the link for A Swift Writers Guild, and it will take you directly to the information for Glenda Fields. Also, Glenda, on the book, Diary of a Man and Heart of a Woman, if someone was interested in that particular book, where could they find that one as well?
Well, they can use the same websites we just mentioned. They can also go to Amazon.com and pull it up from the Amazon link. They can put our name in, but it's easier if they just go to BrendaPaget.com or go to the ASwift.com or to MyGod'sAnointedMinistry.com and click on the links that will connect them directly to the publishing company and then Amazon itself.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you, Glenda, for giving us an insight into God's Anointed Ministries. It is now 7 past the hour. Time for a commercial break. We will be right back with more of God's Anointed Ministries and Glenda Fields. I'm Brenda Johnson-Paget here on A Swift Radio.
Do you need marital counseling to deal with your marital issues? Do you want resources to help enhance your marriage? Log on to www.God'sAnointedMinistries.com to get in touch with Glenda and Rufus Fields. You can also check out their latest book on marriage called Diary of a Man, Heart of a Woman as a self-help tool. Check out God's Anointed Ministries today. A Swift Writer's Guild is for those who have the talent to put pen or brush to paper to create a unique and valuable piece of work. A Swift is always looking for new talents to enhance the literary, visual, and performing arts. For more information on how you can become a member of A Swift Writers Guild, visit www.ASWIFTTWritersguild.com or call 1-866-302-0508.
Welcome back to God's Anointed Ministry Show here on A Swift Radio. I'm Brenda Johnson-Paget, your host. We are talking with Glenda Fields, who is the co-founder of God's Anointed Ministries. Mrs. Fields is also an author and co-founder of A Swift Writers Guild and co-host of A Swift Radio. Glenda, can you tell our listening audience more about your life as an author?
Okay. Being an author actually started for me about age 7. I started writing as a venting tool because in my life I had experienced so many traumatic things and abuse and molestation and various incidents. And so I actually had to also deal with a lot of spiritual warfare. And so for me to actually have someone to communicate with or a way of communicating, I chose writing. Writing was my escape. And it started about age 7 with, like, poetry, and God just developed it over the years for writing books. Like my first book, Look Out, the Enemy is Coming, it's about spiritual warfare that I experienced personally in life. And I shared, bits of my life so that people would understand that they're not going through things by themselves. And so writing for me started at an early age, and then I've been doing it from the age of 7 to now.
Great. Okay, now one of my favorite books is Look Out, the Enemy is Coming. I have this book in my library. The title and the book cover sparked my interest, so I purchased the book. Also, in the book, Look Out, the Enemy is Coming, can you explain some of the types of spirits that you included at the end of the book? Those were some things that I was interested in as well.
Yes, when we look at spiritual warfare, one thing God has always done for me was giving me insight into what was going on in my life. And so with the revelation of some of the spirits that he had given me in the appendix section of the book, I had to look at what I was facing as far as warfare. And so I dealt with a lot of spirits, and every spirit that's actually listed in the book, I've actually encountered or, sensed the presence of over the duration of my life. And so various manifestations of demonic spirits, actually naming them is, what God did so that I could be delivered from them. Because when you look at spiritual warfare, you actually need to be familiar with the spirit you're dealing with, because some spirits won't come out by name, only or by fasting and praying, but you have to have a little insight, knowing their characteristics and how they affect your life. And oftentimes people don't know that demonic influences are what, actually, manipulate your life in different circumstances in your life. And so some of those spirits, I don't know what particular one you would be interested in, but there's,
one of them I did look. I saw where it said the monkey spirit, then I think I saw the chicken spirit. It was just different, like, animal characteristic names and just different spirits. Some of them I was familiar with, and I had heard over time, but there was some I hadn't quite heard of, so that's why I was interested.
And when you're looking at the monkey spirit and even the chicken spirit, the bulldog spirit or the donkey spirit, different spirits like that, you're looking at animalistic characteristics that the demon used when they're possessing a vessel. And so, like, even when you look at the spider spirit, seeing people crawling around on the floor, or the leopard spirit, people clawing individuals when they're going through deliverance. And so, even the tiger spirit and lion spirit, different things like that, there are manifestations of the animal kingdom. And when you look at the various animals in the kingdom, you realize their strengths and weaknesses. And so you would know even in those instances what demonic entities have, greater power than others.
Okay. I see that you recently published The Enemy Among Us at the end of 2010. Is this book a continuation of Look Out, the Enemy is Coming?
That book is, in many ways, a continuation. It just gives a little bit more insight and detail. As you grow up and you experience life, you develop more. And so basically, the Enemy Among Us book was written to let people know that the enemy is not just coming, because that was the first episode, to make you aware that he is coming. Whether you're looking for an attack or not, he's coming at you. But in the Enemy Among Us, it was to show you that he can be so close up under you and you not know it. And so it was really, designed to make us more aware, more spiritually alert, so that we could see the warfare we were facing.
Okay. All right. Well, The Enemy Among Us, that one can also be purchased at Amazon.com as well?
Yes, it can.
Okay, then. Okay, it is now 14 past the hour, time for another commercial break. We will be back with more of God's Anointed Ministries and Glenda Fields after our commercial break.
EB's Flip the Script production by Eunice Bridges. She writes books, plays, produces short films, and movies. She produced her first short film, The Prayer of a Righteous Seed, and is currently working on other projects. To find out more about EB's Flip the Script production, log on at www.ebsflipit.com. A Swift Radio, bringing you the best in radio, keeping you informed, and highlighting your day with Brenda Paget, Eunice Bridges, and Glenda Fields on A Swift Radio. Ambassador sent with information for this time. Tune in online to A Swift Radio here at www.blogtalkradio.com/A Swift Radio. Call us anytime off air at 1-866-302-0508, extension 306.